Welcome to Color Folk and Anime, where we talk about anime from a colorful perspective, commentary on nerd culture. I'm your host, Red Eye, because it'll be here anyways. Red Eye AV. And I got my friends with me, Chris.
Hi.
Jordan.
Yo.
And looking comfortable, Malcolm.
Very comfortable.
Right, you
Not
usually like
comfortable at
tucked
all.
all the way in the corner.
I like being in the corner.
Which is good. I'm not mad at you. You have freedom. You're able to move
There's
around.
no desk.
Live a
I have
life.
nothing to put my elbows on. Sucks.
Man, today's episode is gonna be very interesting. But first, I wanted to read a really old comment that I didn't get to read from. And my bad, I'm gonna say your name in a second for not reading this a couple of weeks back when we actually talked about it. Dang it, where is it at? Uh oh. This is awkward.
It?
I don't think I deleted it.
You're
Either way, I'll summarize it unless somebody
talking about the Dune one, right?
Yeah, I thought I dropped the link and that was on me. We recovered Dune some weeks back, the newer Dune, not the older Dune.
Yeah.
I didn't think we was gonna have any pushback from our perspective on it. We did like a little mini review, but we had a comment on it.
I don't know that it was really pushback per se.
I mean, it wasn't pushback, but
Okay,
it was.
I got it.
Yeah, if you want to read
All
it.
right. So,
Or who was it?
So the comment is from Ryasuke Media,
Shout out you.
and it said, Dune 1984, better action, plot, quotable, knowledgeable, and definitely more memorable. Newer Dune, you get less plot, knowledge, action, and boring. Finally, all ethnic people were Fremen, and all ethnic people died Black, Hispanic, and Islander. Eternals was good, and I agree with you with the review. Good work.
Appreciate you, man.
So that was a comment for both Dune and
That's
Eternals.
what's up.
That was
That's
on
what's
our Dune and Eternals review from like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So
That
if you,
is true. All of the people of color were Fremen.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's problematic.
That
with
is.
it.
It is.
Because that's not how people groups work.
Yeah,
Like,
but
don't just
you
get
know
to-
they try to make statements and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like Avatar and all that.
Yeah.
Like, you ruining this established ethnic groups, culture,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, to be fair, though, a slight pushback on that because the father of the main character, I forget his name.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac's character. He's Latino.
Yeah, he is.
And so, like, he's a Latino character in the
And
movie,
real-
too.
yeah, like
and
legit.
a great dad.
Because he's got...
Awesome dad, yeah.
Great
Yeah.
dad. If he was an anime dad, he'd be one of the best. Because they've got a Latin sounding last name in the movie too, and like their clan, like they've got like the bull symbols, which is, I mean, the bull is a big symbol in Spain, because like bullfighting was part of Spanish culture.
That European?
I mean, it is European.
Yeah.
But it's true. But I mean, like Oscar Isaac's character is, I mean, he's not European though.
No,
Right.
he's not.
He's Latino.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
So
they have more ethnic people than Star Wars, so it's a win.
yeah, it's true.
Listen, Star Wars.
The one black person.
Star
Yeah.
Wars.
No,
has
they had more
negative
than-
That didn't go
five.
well.
They had more in the movies that sucked.
Oh yeah.
So-
Oh, for
Those,
sure.
those movies were
Mace
better
Windu
than the
was
prequels.
great.
Stop it.
The last one wasn't.
No, the second of the three wasn't.
I didn't
Which
like
one was
any
the
of
second
them.
one?
The second one was
yeah.
ass.
The second one. Well,
You talking about the last Jedi?
we're getting.
Not the
we're
last
getting
Jedi.
way off topic.
Yeah, we are.
The one before. Anyways, all I have to say is appreciate you,
We
man,
should do a
for
Star Wars episode.
yeah.
I have
We will.
feelings.
Appreciate you for sharing your perspective. Those comments are super helpful for us. And would y'all want to review Dune 1984 at some point?
Hell
just
no,
for
I ain't
Yeah.
watching
I'd be
that.
down, yeah.
No.
Back in
I'd be
Blockbuster
down.
days, there's the
Yeah.
double cassette on the wall. I remember exactly where it was on the
Yeah.
wall.
I
That's
was
funny.
watching. What are their names? The guys that do the special effect reviews, and they did the old
Corridor Crew.
one versus the new one, just
Oh,
the
really?
special effects, and even just seeing the part with the body armor thing, I was like, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
I cannot.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna review it then.
Oh,
should.
no.
All right, let's talk about Stellan Skarsgård and his take on Martin Scorsese and Ridley Scott's Marvel criticisms. A few weeks back,
Oh yeah,
we
Ridley
talked
Scott.
about
Forgot Ridley Scott.
yeah,
said
we talked about
something.
how
he chimed in too.
Millennials
how
didn't watch his
Scorsese
movie
and Scott
because
had
of cell phones. I don't know.
Scorsese and
What was
Scott.
his movie?
Exactly. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the point. Like,
It's the Matt Damon one?
Was it Matt Damon in that one?
And what's his name?
I don't remember seeing one commercial about this. I also
It was the
don't
medieval one,
watch
though, right?
TV like that.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yes,
it was like the
yeah,
I heard
last-
that was amazing.
The Last Duel, I think it's
one of my
called, right?
students
Yes,
told me
The
to watch
Last
that.
Duel,
It's supposed to be
that's what it was.
amazing.
I mean, it just came
Yeah,
out
it
like
was
the
I
last-
want
last,
to watch it.
Yeah,
but like it bombed in the theaters.
It bombed.
Everything bombed in the theaters.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
so-
that especially bombed in the theaters.
Yeah,
like I
but-
think the problem because like
I didn't even know it. I didn't
We
know
gonna
it
get
was
into
out.
it though, because that's what he talks about.
Okay,
he
cool.
talks about
Sorry.
like, and and I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
But Scorsese and Scott had
For now.
smoke for Marvel's. They had Marvel's they had smoke for Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? And so they had.
Yeah.
We talked about how they share extremely negative comments, and so my man Skarsgård. That's a really interesting name. Definitely English or something European.
that's probably like Norwegian or
Right.
Finnish or something.
right?
He shared his perspective, which I thought was actually a really balanced perspective on the topic. And I'm going to share this is from comicbook.com. I'm going to just read what it says. These days, it has become common practice to ask filmmakers about their opinions on superhero movies, which has led to the acclaimed directors such as Scorsese and Scott bashing Marvel Cinematic Universe. Scorsese became a trending topic back in 2019 for comparing superhero films to theme parks. And Scott recently made headlines for calling them effing boring, and as you know, these hot takes tend to divide the internet. Let me skip down. Recently, Marvel star Stellan Skarsgård, Eric Selvig, had a chat with The Guardian and asked his opinion. And this is what I thought was really cool. He said, "I've got nothing against superhero movies. I've been in a couple and they definitely have a place. The problem is that the system that allows 8 people to own half of the wealth in the world enhances the power of the market forces. So small and independent cinemas rarely exist anymore outside of a few big cities. There's no distribution channels for all of the mid-budget films that have the best actors, the best writing, because they can't throw up $3 million for a marketing campaign. And when cinemas let them in, they do so for 1 week, and if it doesn't pay off, they're gone." And he also says, remember that The Godfather opened in 100 cinemas in the United States. Big films now open in 4,000. And it has small ads in the Times, but it grew because it was a good film. So, and he kind of shares just that perspective on, it's not fair to just say, like, oh, these big superhero movies are taking up all the space. The market's different. You can't say that, oh man, this is like these capitalist Marvel movies. It's like, no, this whole system that used to, those kinds of movies like Scorsese, old films and stuff like that used to thrive in, is totally changed. Want to get y'all perspective on it. What do y'all think?
Well, I mean, he's right, but also like blaming it on the culture and stuff is also kind of right. But it's also like it's essentially a kid's property. So there's toys and these characters been on cartoons. So outside the adults that want to see it, you got all these little kids dragging their parents to go see it too.
Yeah.
So that they're not doing it for the what was it called, The Last Duel.
Yeah,
Like,
The Last Duel.
A kid's not gonna drag his parents to
Yeah.
go see that movie. So
And
just
it's
that
not,
in
and
and
it's
of
not
itself.
and it's not kid friendly anyways. Like,
No,
I
it's
mean,
not
that's dealing
kid-friendly
with like
anyway.
really heavy stuff, you know, like
Super heavy.
like medieval like patriarchy and
And
like
betrayal
Yeah,
and lying
like-
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and the fact that like women didn't have like rights and like
Yeah, it's a whole
dudes could just do whatever they
super
wanted, and like
layered.
even if a woman cried, what are they?
But
gonna
it's
do?
also about chivalry too,
I don't know
because
if I can
that's
say that word on YouTube. My fault. You
No,
might,
yeah,
that's all good.
you might have to bleep that out.
yeah. But it's also about chivalry too,
Rape.
because you know he's defending his sister's honor.
Yeah, right.
Like yeah, because you sexually assaulted my sister. Like I beat your ass. It's
Right.
law.
I mean, that's
Like,
that's
law.
I mean, that's a given, right?
Yeah.
You got to
well,
die, my boy.
well, you gotta kill him, not
to
beat his
see it
ass.
through.
Right.
Yeah,
Kill
and-
him. But
And a lot of that is true, because if you notice, and he brought this up at the end about how, you know, HBO is also, once he talked about how once AT&T took over Time Warner, it immediately told HBO to become more commercial. And so even the shows on on streaming services have changed because they're not, investors not going to put money into that. Why? Because they can't put it in front of families.
Yeah.
And that's what's running
Yeah.
the market right now because that's what's
that
spending the most
always
money.
Yeah.
drives
Yeah.
and stuff.
But like I feel like back in the day, you know, it's a reason why a show like Sex and the City is big in early 2000s and stuff like that. That show would not thrive like it would today. It had to sit in a different space, but it wouldn't go in front of these people who are paying the HBO subscriptions or going to the movies. It would have to sit in like some other pocket.
Well,
or whatever
you didn't have as many options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sex and the City wouldn't be unique.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
because it'd be
They're
up
right,
against
exactly.
like Insecure and like 5 other shows just like that are just as good. But also everything's quick turnaround now. So, you know, back in the day, when we talk about God, well, even like early 90s, Aliens and stuff,
Yeah.
it'd be in the theater for almost the whole year.
Yeah.
So word of mouth would get out throughout that whole
pop off
year.
randomly.
Exactly.
Yeah. But now you get a week to prove that you could be profitable.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, especially
But
for the mid-tier ones.
Profits are if profits are running an industry, it becomes less about the art. So those more artistic films,
that's
the
true.
ones that are thematically more deep, don't necessarily get as much play. And so it's it is one of those things where it's like, I agree with the idea that it is muddying the art form because it's become more about like profit margins and likability and family friendly and stuff like that, which comic book movies play into. But what's getting lost then is the art of it, right? So then you get to the Oscars and all these like really beautiful artistic films are the ones that like are getting their day in the sun, and everybody's like, but where's Eternals? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, Eternals is a nice movie and it's fun, but it's not like when we're in this setting, we're celebrating the art of film, and that's not artistic film. Why would that be here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What else was I gonna say? I had something in my head. I can't remember. I'm old.
Well, I think one thing that came to mind for me when he was talking about, you know, like the fact that all these big name artists or actors and actresses get sucked into the Marvel universe and then they don't have time to do any of these more artistic films. I'm like,
Which is
okay,
why
so
I was
is
like,
that
stop
so
making
really?
this little boy feel like he got to play Spider-Man forever?
I mean,
Leave
so
him alone.
I mean,
No, he
right,
signed-
exactly. So I mean,
no,
'cause
he
that's-
signed that contract.
Well,
He
that's-
wanted to play
exactly, that's
Spider-Man
the
as
thing.
well.
That's
They
the thing
paid
is
him
that
very handsomely.
it's two-sided. You know, on the one hand, you have, I mean, at the moment, like the biggest money that you can possibly make at the moment is doing like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like that's it. Like that's one of the biggest things you can do right now as an actor is stamp your name on an iconic character in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
And then on the other side is like the directors are getting mad because they're like, oh, they're snatching up all these actors. But I'm like, if the actor, what are they doing it for the show or are they doing it for the money? Are they doing it for like the actual art or are they doing it for the money? Because
Well, the other, what was that, Jupiter, whatever, that Tom Holland in was terrible.
Jupiter, what's that?
So it didn't even come out, really, did it? It
talking
came
about
out and then
Jupiter,
they're like, the one where they could like, everybody was like,
telepathically.
telepathic.
I think I know what you're talking about. Did I watch it? No.
No, nobody watched it. It was terrible. It was like, yeah.
Oh no.
But the advertisements are also different to his point, where back in the day, high advertisement budget, you'll see it in trailers, and you might see a commercial a couple times an hour on TV. But now every time you go to a YouTube thing, if they know you like Marvel,
Yeah, right.
you're going to see the trailer every time you click on something.
Yeah,
But
without
then
a
too,
doubt.
like with advertising, like people don't watch TV like they used to anymore. Like people have streaming services, and there's no commercials on streaming services.
Yeah.
Unless you have a service like a Hulu or something, and you pay for just the basic version where there's no like.
Well, I think,
you
and
don't skip
that's
the
one of
ads.
the reasons why older directors or older marketing strategies or even things that market to an older audience are failing a little bit more now because
those mediums are dying.
and what
Without
you
a
need is the influencer that everybody hates, right? You need the influencer model and structure is what's driving these like pop culture movements, right? So it's like Marvel anyway has a bunch of fans, and then people are just like doing content for free advertisement for them anyway, because all these people like their shit. But what they do is they'll team up with an influencer to do like a special stream where they're talking about it. They send the One Piece's 1000th episode. Yeah, they did like gift boxes to different anime content creators.
Yeah,
they would open it up, and it's like that's advertisement. That box probably didn't take them a bunch of money to put together, but it's now like got the word out there. Like everybody sit down and watch the 1000th episode or whatever. Whereas like regular movies. Not regular movies, but more artistic films or those mid-level budget films aren't getting that same type of attention. And even if they did say, okay, well, I'm going to talk to this film reviewer and say, hey, let's team, but you still need money for that. You have to decide to invest your marketing budget into
but you
that
always
type
you also have to realize that mass appeal is that in and of itself. Yeah. Marvel is a mass appealing movie.
Yeah.
Like,
so, I mean, question I want to ask, and to your point with that, is it with the whole influencer thing, and then we could switch on to our next topic. Do you feel like folks like Scorsese and Scott are just not playing the game well, or they are refusing
I think they
to
don't
play
want
the
to.
game?
Yeah. I think they want.
Do they feel like it'll compromise their art, or what? What is it?
I think they want film to stay artistic, and they want to be able to be as popular as they used to be doing artistic things.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as a slow burn anymore. So
and it's also not how culture works, right? But
when I think too, like after, I mean, because obviously we're still dealing with COVID and its repercussions. I think the biggest thing you have to think about too is films that don't make a lot of money are not going to be attractive to theaters that are dying. True. Like, because the theater industry almost collapsed on itself last year.
Yeah.
Like, theaters were closing all over the country, and I'm sure all over the world, because they couldn't keep the lights on because they're not making any money if they can't have people in their building. So, like, if you have these films where you're going to have an opening weekend where you're going to scratch $1 million maybe, like, that's not going to make the theater a lot of money.
Yeah.
You open up a Marvel movie, you're gonna make 5-10 million easy.
Right.
Like you're gonna make a lot more money doing these kinds of films. So like the industry that's worried about sustaining itself right now is not worried about B-level movies that are not gonna make a lot of money but are very artistic. Yeah. They're worried about, all right, what's gonna put money in our pockets right now so we can keep the lights on.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, somebody like Scorsese or whatever, they gotta go the streaming route. They gotta do the HBO thing or the Netflix thing and just make a movie on that.
Mm-hmm. Right. But that's the other part of it. Like film is film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they don't even show film on film anymore, so that's irrelevant.
I know, but you know what I mean though. Like where it's like some of those artists are like, no, like I think about
because you got to see it, the spectacle of it.
The spectacle of it, the theater of it all kind of thing. Where it's like you do lose a lot of that cinematic-ness.
Yeah. You can't really get lost in it like in the theater.
Doing the streaming
but
thing. I mean, nowadays people have like their own little like, oh, I got my little projector goes on the wall. I can watch the movies like a movie.
She's mad because she got a tiny TV.
Shut up, Malcolm.
I'm one of those people that's got a projector.
What's funny though? Like when you have a small TV and you buy someone else a big TV for like the holiday or something, I definitely did that, and I was like, why didn't I upgrade my own situation?
Why didn't you?
I don't know. I just was like, I feel like she'd like this, and I bought her a big old TV, and then I was like, oh. And now I still have my dinky one.
She got a tube TV with a VCR attached to
it. Still got the 3-ways, right? The red, white, and blue, yellow plugs.
No, not even that. She got the R. She can still play Nintendo without any adapter.
That's hilarious. Yeah. You have to change the channel to 3 to play it.
No, not even the remote.
They don't know nothing about that, bro.
Not even the remote. It's the pliers.
The knob is broke off.
Without a doubt.
And
I don't know why the knob was always broke off. Why?
Because it was turning into hard, bro.
It slid off like the knobs on the stove.
Yeah.
But
so
where did it go?
Like that shit on the wrong way.
A kid kid
Like,
play
fuck.
with it and it's under a couch somewhere.
That used to be trash because we had
Yeah.
everybody had that apparently.
what was clutch was when they started doing those universal remotes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yo,
that's true.
You had to type in a cheat code to get to work on your TV.
You had to you had to try to find your TV's manual to see what all this stuff was.
Yo, talk about it.
Man, so my parents' first television was this big ass, just giant box television.
Those things were the plug.
And we had that forever. I think we
Best
had
party
that.
Talking about the wood one?
Yeah.
We
it
had
was
that
their
when it was
first
just me and
TV.
mama.
Yeah,
and I was
bro.
like 3.
You could like hiding them joints from intruders.
Yeah, we had that for such a long time, but we bought a big ass universal
Giant
remote.
Oh, one of them like square mugs.
Yeah.
One of those like
It was like comical on purpose.
Yeah.
It was like a tablet. Like,
It was.
the 10 Commandments.
It was
It was like the size of a notebook.
Yeah,
That's
that was how big
insane.
the remote was.
Oh, that's
it was
funny.
beautiful.
Well,
Anyway,
well, let's talk about it. The most infamous live action remake, probably of all time.
oh, for sure.
The Cowboy Bebop live action was dropped on
Like
Netflix.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's a couple weeks ago. We're reviewing it. We're reacting to it. If y'all don't
spoilers
remember,
abound. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
If y'all-
spoiler. If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And also watch
no, it
our
doesn't
review.
count if you watched Cowboy Bebop. You have to.
The anime,
and
no.
watch our review of our retro
actual,
review
the
of Cowboy
anime.
Bebop as well, as we kind of talk about it, which is you're gonna see 2 totally different reactions.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, no.
So let me and so this is a very interesting show. This is a very interesting take. If y'all don't, so I'll just read these names off so y'all know. Spike Spiegel, who was John Cho, Jet Black, who was Mustafa Shakir, Faye Valentine, who's probably the most vocal cast member, like in real life, about the show, Daniela Pineda, and then also Julia, Elena Satine, and then Vicious, Alex Hassel. Y'all can look everybody else up, but those are the people who was
The
most
big
on
names,
the
yeah,
screen.
right.
So this show, we had a group chat. I was talking about it, and as I was talking about it, I was like 5 episodes in, and I'll say when I got to that last episode, my entire opinion of the show flipped. Like first, I was like, you know what? I was like,
It ain't
how
that
Malcolm
bad,
went,
right.
it's cool, and then Jordan too, like it's all right. And I tried to, and I'll get to my questions in a second, but I tried to figure out why was this so unsettling for me? Because it shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's just a live action. It's not like that. It's not even a terribly new story, but that's part of
what they did was a new story.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
right,
Yeah. So that's what I started
Right.
realizing. So I went and I watched this guy because I'm trying to get other perspectives on it, and I got this guy. It's a Gundam. He did like a 50-minute rant on how trash.
I did. I watched Mother's Basement.
Oh, did
little
you?
rant
Yeah.
about it too.
And I appreciate
And I
it
was-
because they helped me put to words like, why is this unsettling? I don't know why. I don't know how I feel. Well, I don't know. I didn't know how I feel, but do help me get to my conclusion. But I asked this question to start off this really long conversation. Lot of hype. Did it live up to the hype?
Was it hyped?
It was very much hyped.
It was.
It was
I think.
anticipated.
Yeah,
I
that's
I like
yeah,
anticipated
that's
better.
because everybody was
Because the anime
like,
community doesn't get hype
"Maybe
about live
it will
actions.
be good.
True.
Maybe it will be good. Maybe
I
it
feel
will be
like
good."
once
That
they
was the whole
I feel
time.
like once they released the casting photos and like they said that the original composer was part of the project, I think people were cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Because the characters at first glance looked good. And I think, I don't think it lived up to what I was talking to someone about this today. I was prepared to be disappointed. And I have an even lesser opinion of that
Me too.
than just being mildly disappointed. Like so when it first started, I didn't hate it when it first started.
Yeah.
Like first few episodes I was okay with. Like the dynamic, them figuring themselves out. I like Jet's character, honestly. Out of everything, Jet's character is my
was
favorite.
the best one on there.
Jet was the best character. in my opinion.
Facts. It's no comparison.
You can't get the dog wrong. Like, it's a corgi. You can't get that wrong.
They tried to get the dog wrong.
They did get the dog wrong. What are you talking about?
Wrong. The wrongest out of everybody. They tried
to
get the dog wrong.
Yeah, well. Yeah, no, Jet was definitely, in my opinion, Jet was the best character, my favorite character. Yeah, I didn't like. I just felt like it was kind of hammy.
Yeah.
So
yes. Well,
interesting thing. I was talking with a guy at my job because movies and stuff came up, and he doesn't watch anime.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, oh, you watch anime? He's like, no. I was like, oh, did you hear about the Cowboy thing? He's like, yeah, I heard it was pretty good. So I'm like, what? But he don't know a lot of anime people.
There we go.
So
see, here's the thing. There's a person I was talking about today about Cowboy Bebop. She is like a casual anime fan, and I'd asked her if she had watched Cowboy Bebop. She's like, no, I've only seen like an episode or two. I was like, if you have not watched the anime, the show is a good show. If you have not watched the anime, if you've watched the anime, it's not a good show.
You can enjoy it if you haven't. It's enjoyable. It's enjoyable.
So let's get right into it. So this is my favorite anime of all time. This is like number one on my list.
I feel so bad for you.
So this is why I was torn about it because I want to like it.
It's like when you buy the CD and you realize it ain't got the parental advisory sticker on it.
When I tell you, well, like when I tell you the misdirection. Edits. So let's get right into it because I want all of us to be talking about. I just want to cut Jordan off.
And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I have to, you got to go back and buy the anyways. Man. Then you got 2 CDs and one you never gonna play. Anyways, I want to talk about, and I phrase this question in here as what do we appreciate and what do you have problems with? But I think I don't know how much I appreciate it in this. I'll start this off and then we can just sound off on this. Because I'll probably have to revisit my point with some deeper details. I think if this story was not the story of Cowboy Bebop, then, or like if it was just them in the future, them after.
If it had done a Carol and Tuesday and just did another story in that world.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Right. If they would have refocused on one of Spike's friends, or one of his acquaintances, and then kind of took it from there. They could have done a lot with that. I think this is what I realized with live actions. I don't need you to retell the story. I don't think retelling the story, unless you're like Bleach.
Cowboy Bebop done right live action would be amazing.
There's no way they could have done it live right.
Yes, they could have.
No, because the director. And we'll talk
about
him,
not the people involved with it.
Well, no, hear what I'm saying. So the problem is somebody's always going to want to take creative liberty. And if you watch, I shared the Netflix, they did a special, and the directors and the actors, they sat down, I put it in there or whatever, and they talked about how they approached the show. And you could tell that the director was taking a lot of creative liberty to go here, go there, go left.
It was
right.
obvious in the show, right?
And to be honest, I don't know how a director would get this story and say, I'm just going to keep it the same. They're going to want to be like, I got to be artsy fartsy or be a pillow.
I was watching it and I was like, I told Malcolm, I was like, do you remember Quentin Tarantino's spaghetti western, the Japanese spaghetti western? I was like, if they had done something like that.
There we go.
You know what I mean? Like,
have any of you guys watched that
been
yet?
Different.
I haven't.
Sukiyaki Django?
You were talking about it.
Yeah.
Django, but it's
yeah.
But it would have been different. Like, it would have been tonally different. It would have played with a little bit different themes, but it would have honored the essence of the show by playing into the cowboy western aspect of what Cowboy Bebop was going after, like the tone of this, the
or
acting,
even if you,
the singing,
but that's why I start with the directing.
Everything about this show.
So and again, a shout out to It's a Gundam. I should drop his link below or to his video, but he pointed this out because, like I said, I couldn't put words to it. But he pointed out the fact that this whole y'all alluded to this. This whole story was altered.
Yeah, right.
But the story, I don't think that the story was altered just on a story. The problem was, and what I could talk about this in depth. I don't want to like hog the conversation. I'm just very passionate about this. The story was altered because the motivation behind every single character in the show was altered. Every single one. All of them existed, lived for entirely different reasons that made them appealing. We're watching the old one right now, and this is Grin. Who's a main big example.
I cannot believe they reduced Gren to the queer best friend. Like, what the fuck?
So Grin,
why?
I'm not gonna. We'll get to that. But again, he's a major example of them just trying to essentially be politically correct.
That's not even politically correct.
It's reductive.
No, I'm saying it's not correct. They're trying to be.
That's not even being politically correct because he's politically correct.
The
anime.
In the anime, right? His story is just a tragic story. Actually, it's kind of hard. And we're gonna talk about Faye. I got a whole tangent on Faye, but I know how y'all feel that I think about women acting.
Do solemnly swear to be a He-Man and hate women and not play with them or talk to them unless I have to, and especially never fall in love. And if I do, may I die slowly and painfully and suffer for hours or until I scream bloody murder.
So I'm gonna save that for a little bit later.
That's funny.
This
nigga
you
said it. I didn't say it.
But Grin's story is about his tragedy. And this is what I realized that the show got wrong. It got wrong the fact that everybody had pain.
Yeah.
Their pain is what drew them together, and their pain is what they gathered around to carry
this is my
out.
thing, because I was talking to Chris about this. Everybody's backstory could have been what it was, but they could have did it so much better.
Yeah.
Like in the anime, Ed's the most grounded character.
Right.
So in the live action, they could have made him grounded because he has a daughter. You know what I mean? You know, Spike could have just
just the most grounded character.
Yeah, Spike could have been just like the like, dude, we your guys, but you keep lying and all that. You know, he could have been.
Yeah.
You know, so they could have had the same type of backstories, but just it could have been done a million times better.
The problem, and then we could talk about how we feel about each character, I guess, next, like, you know, whatever. But the problem is because of that pain, all of these characters in the anime, they're very self-destructive. All of them do things that they think is, you know, like they think they get what they deserve, so to speak, right? Spike essentially is, you know, for lack of a better phrase, like in deep depression almost over.
He's constantly seeking thrills that risk his life.
Yeah, that's
because he literally doesn't care.
Yeah,
and that's a.
But mental. He could not care in the live action because his
motivations were different.
The story's different.
And so that's my point. It's like these characters are altered, but because they each have been altered bit by bit. Because I don't think it was cohesive enough for him to be like the whole story is altered. I think it was like this character, and because of that, you left with a lot of goofy characters who you kind of can't take seriously because their motivations is not.
But like I said,
you know,
I agree and disagree. Like they could have done well with the motivations in the
there
live action.
There were certain changes where I was like, this could have been okay. Even changing Ren's character to like a non-binary person, like that would have been kind of like okay, that's a little bit different of a choice. But like they didn't make
he was pointless.
They didn't make them.
They were pointless.
Yes.
And they reduced them to the gay, queer best friend character where it's like, I got a sassy quip to throw in here. Oh my God, I thought we were done with that.
Didn't like, even have a gun to the last episode.
Right.
Exactly. got their ass beat.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
right.
What is going like,
Yeah, that's
sorry.
true.
There's I disliked this from the first episode.
You know what's funny talking about Gren specifically? I did not realize that's who that was in the show.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even realize that's who that was.
In this episode that we
like,
have
y'all was just talking about that, and I saw him in the show, and I'm like, I didn't even put two and two together. That's who that was, because the character is so different.
Yeah. So different.
And And I'll rewind it a bit to, like I said, because I do want to touch on each and every character and how I feel about them, and y'all could disagree for sure. And we could talk about. Actually, I'll start here at Vicious.
He just popped up on the screen.
So here's something that Quentin Tarantino gets right that this guy, the director of the live action, gets wrong.
Quentin Tarantino gets everything right.
Nigga. Who that nigga? Who that? You a host? Wait. Get that nigga! I'm mad! Get back!
But I'll say Quentin Tarantino gets his motivations behind the villains right.
Oh yeah.
So you think about
I said that on purpose.
You think about a lot of other, you think about all these different movies, but you think about Kill Bill specifically. You think about Bill and the coldness that is Bill towards
Bill
even
and Vicious are the same person.
They're the same person. At least the anime Vicious and Bill, they're cold, they're calculated. And
in the background.
Yeah, and they're 2 seconds to turn it up on anybody or anything on principle.
Right.
And Vicious in the show is like, this guy
he was just emotionally unstable.
Which didn't make any fucking sense.
They made him a bitch.
They made it. Bro, that's the exact word I have in my notes. I was like, Vicious is a bitch. Like,
I hated Vicious so much.
I don't even like that word. And he was, bro.
And Vicious, I love Vicious in the anime.
He's great. He's a great villain.
Vicious ain't wrong. Vicious ain't wrong.
Yeah, and I'm always on edge when he come on the screen because I'm like, somebody's gonna die.
He about to slice some niggas up.
Right.
Because this man is just Cowboy Bebop Sephiroth.
But that's because the problem again, that's that they changed the dynamic of the. So Julius is married to Vicious.
God, Julia's character.
Julia's character is reduced to the wife who gets beat on.
They could have just cut her character out completely. That would have made the show so much better.
So here's the thing, right?
Yeah. I hate her character.
Instead of it being Cowboy Bebop, it was like they were trying to finesse us and be like, we're gonna tell Julia's story.
So
and fake ass
has
empower her.
anybody watched any of the Netflix He-Man?
No.
They do the same bait and switch.
Do they? Where it's like it's about whoever the damsel was in the actual show.
Oh, in both ones. And it's two different it's a different damsel each time.
Julia in the anime is a bitch ass nigga. That's what Julia fucking is.
Oh, she's always running away.
She was playing both of them.
She was playing everybody. She was being a bitch. She helped Spike get back to health, and they was fucking around on Vicious, and Vicious got mad, and he's a psychopathic murderer, so of course he tried to kill their ass. And then she was supposed to meet up with Spike after he faked his fucking death so that they could run away together, and she never fucking showed up. And then she got finessed and was going to kill Spike at the end any fucking way.
Right.
Like, Julia fucking sucks, and that's part of the fucking story.
Yeah.
And then for you to turn it around and make her this like battered woman turned syndicate leader.
But also
what is
like
happening?
But also it's like even. If they would have had she doesn't have any skills.
Yeah.
So if they gave her the skills of Julia in the anime and she did that, you could make that
made
work.
her a cabaret singer, and she was bad. She was fucking bad.
She was. I was like, they was all in there like, yeah. I was like, for what?
Oh,
this is can't sing.
But that's the common theme amongst all these characters is that it's almost like they try to add a human layer like
that was already present.
It was already there. And I'll transition to the next character.
So many damn creative liberties.
This is the same thing happened with Faye, right? Faye, who's like the femme fatale, the chick who finesses everybody, who's you don't really find out like her vulnerability.
How you make her outfit more practical, but she wearing tights.
Exactly. No, how do you complain?
Pants. I was like,
I would have preferred pants.
Yeah. Why is she wearing tights?
Or you complain about the sexual exploitation of her. You got a whole innuendo scene in there.
She fucking
Like,
Yo, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because I'll be the first person here to say. I'm gonna be the only person here to say this. I took an issue with the fact that, again, politically correct. They literally made her a lesbian for the sake of doing
Was
it.
she
It
a
had
lesbian,
nothing
though?
to add to the story. It had nothing to.
I don't think she was a lesbian.
I don't
She
think
was
no.
I
was
think
just
she
fucking.
was.
she was
No, in
Because-
I think the idea is that
in the Netflix live
in the
action.
Netflix live action, I think both her and Spike are supposed to be sexually adventurous.
Fluid.
Yeah.
So they kind of like will
See, but
fuck
you know,
whoever.
but you know what?
Both of them, because even him at the brothels and stuff, he was like, you know, like there was a non-binary person that he was like, we can get it later kind
but
of thing
Spike
or whatever.
didn't have a sex scene.
He did not.
That's
well,
my point.
no, he did.
Well,
in
Julia.
the flashback.
Oh, yeah,
Which
But
I also
again,
did
but
not
that's my
need.
point.
I
My
didn't
point
need.
is
Right.
Faye. They're adding layers to Faye that don't
See,
help
but
the story.
That would have worked if she was a gambler and because she don't know who she is, she's a hedonist.
Yeah.
Then that would have worked.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think all of us were like, man, what are you going to do with Faye's story? This could be very interesting.
Right.
Was
They can
Right.
explore
excited
That was
about
the,
them
that was the
fleshing her
biggest
out
question
more.
mark in the anime. It was like,
Yes.
why the hell is Faye even a character? Like, what is her story? Because they didn't do it justice at the
That's
end of the
what
anime.
when they were talking about like doing like more. Be more because Cowboy Bebop itself is progressive. That deals with
For
like
sure.
police corruption. It
Yeah.
deals with the medical system and the debt people go into with it. It deals with it deals
Yeah.
with a bunch of different stuff. Everybody's got shit.
But they didn't focus on
They
any
didn't
of those
focus on
things.
any of
That's
the
my
deep thematic like the world is wrong type shit.
Yeah.
What they dealt with was like petty ass shit.
Yeah.
That was like it
Just
felt
personal
vapid.
grudges.
Everything about this felt fucking vapid.
Yeah, and there's there's
It
like
felt less deep.
Yeah, and again, that's what happened with Faye's character. And so what Faye ends up looking like is just aloof. She doesn't really know how to do anything except like at least the Faye in the anime, she could talk her way out of anything of large in part. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
But the Faye in the live action
They tried to touch on that kind of with her mom, with the
Yeah.
running cons and stuff, with that moment together.
Yeah. That was
So
I didn't
be
mind
it
that
like
moment. That was a cool moment.
Yeah.
When they was running game on the valet.
On the valet.
No,
Like,
that
I
was
like,
a cool
okay,
was
moment.
funny, yeah.
I was
But
like,
that's
okay,
what I'm
this is the
saying.
Faye.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is that because she didn't have so she doesn't have the same motivation. She
Yeah.
got conned by the people that with the cryo sleep thing ended up in a tremendous amount of debt, and as a result became a professional gambler who also has a shopping problem, but she's trying to dig herself out of this huge debt, so she had to learn certain skills so that she could do that. In the live action, her only thing is that she can't remember her past.
Yeah.
Like she has no other trial other than not being able to remember her past. It's somebody pretending to be her mom.
And so you not remembering your past has no bearing on you being a bounty hunter.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, why are you about?
Yeah,
You
what's
don't
your
remember
motivation?
anything.
Right.
Can we go back real quick? Hold on. Okay.
Go for it.
The reason why I hated it from the first episode had to do for like, and I stopped the first. It took me a week and a half to watch the first episode because I was like, what the fuck is this shit? The first little bit that they do is the guy with the red eye, and his would be but not really pregnant girlfriend, right? In the anime, the girlfriend is like, like I want to go to Mars, like I want to escape with the man I love to Mars, and that's why he's making all these crazy moves so that we can go and we can be free. We can get out of our situations. Little Tijuana is, rough. We trying to get out of here, right? She realizes that it's not going to work, but her man is going to risk his life for her. She makes the decision to put him out of his misery and then put herself out of her own, right? that's how the story goes. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful love story. And it gives the woman in the story so much agency over her situation that she ends up making this decision for them or whatever. She does what's best for him. She does what's best for her. All the shebang. They fucked every single moment of that in the live action. They choose
that to be where they meet too, with Faye and Spike
and I didn't even really mind that. The problem was they made the girlfriend out to be a spoiled little rich girl trying to escape her richness.
And
they didn't even explain that
with a guy.
And they didn't explain that.
They brought it up like it was going to be a big deal.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, you don't know who my daddy is."
Right, and it was like
daddy, okay.
It was like now instead of her being one of the big things of anime is like everybody's down bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's downtrodden.
That's
the live action has none of that at all whatsoever. And so instead of it being about these two people that are down bad that just want freedom and escape and the chance to pursue the lives that they want,
why normal people usually deal drugs.
Exactly. It turns into him being a money the boyfriend now instead of taking this big risk to save their lives is taking a big risk to make it rich.
Yeah.
And as a result becomes addicted to the drug that he's selling. And then instead of her having the agency to kill him and then herself, he's killed by someone else. And then she just kills herself because she's sad that he's dead. Like no agency for her at all whatsoever. She had no choice in anything that happened to her. She was a damsel in the whole fucking thing. I was like, what the hell is this? What is this? What is this?
You know, a lot of that has to, and I could transition to Jet too.
Sorry.
So Jet is actually my favorite. The actor.
Yeah,
it's the favorite actor. I know you took issue with him in a group chat, but I think you realized quickly he's the only person here that can actually act. So he's carrying the show on his back. He's literally lifting up this entire live action to say.
Part of the reason though is they make his shit the shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Well, again, that's what we talk about the creative liberty
they
thing.
They made him a fucking dad.
That's what. So we were talking about this motivation, the motivation being lost. So the thing about Jet's story in the anime is the tragedy, it's the pain.
That guy right now. I'm so
right.
Sorry.
And here's the thing. This is what was the most off-putting thing to me is when he brings his doll. To they're like in some random suburb, which didn't make sense if you think about like the setting of the entire anime,
right?
And all of a sudden you're in like the middle of Ohio,
suburbia, right?
Like Europa. They made a moon, a Saturn, a suburb.
That's what I'm saying. And there's nowhere in the anime that even references a suburb, and so it was off.
Because
anime,
it's all
nobody's rich like that.
Exactly.
But also, all them niggas was running away from Earth getting destroyed.
Right.
Yeah.
Like. So it was a last ditch attempt for everybody to get off the planet.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, let's just, make a community in Mars. And it's like, we got to get the fuck out of here, throw some shit together, and let's go.
That's why all the 80s technology is sandwiched together to make shit.
Right.
And Jet's story has layers in the anime. His story is it's not simply your partner ran off with your wife. It's a little more tragic than that. It was your wife went off, but the guy ended up turning into a criminal, and you weren't a good dad. You weren't never a dad person because you care so much about the life.
And also, none of his relationships worked.
Exactly.
Friend relationship, girl, like
none of it. He was a dysfunctional, person in general.
And a part of his character in here is that like. He didn't want to be in the ISSP force anymore because everybody was corrupt. He was like, I could do more good being a bounty hunter than I can being a cop.
Right.
Because these people are corrupt. And every time in the anime he goes back to a police force connection, he extorts the person that he's talking to.
Yeah.
He has dirt on everyone because everybody is dirty.
Yeah.
That does not exist in the anime.
And I didn't like they used his daughter for bait.
Yeah,
that's the cheapest shit ever.
That's cheap.
No, that's the cheapest shit ever. And he was mad about it.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense for him to be mad for them taking his daughter. Like, you got us into this? nigga, how does he know you got a daughter?
Right.
Like,
one of the things that I think he said this, but one of the things the actual actor Mustafa said was the fact that, and this is flagrant. I'll say it's flagrant, but I'm gonna say it because he said it. Is that the live action fixed the wrongs that the anime had
For who?
and
For Jet?
for entire show.
what wrongs did it have?
Well, if
Did
you
this nigga watch
you know
the
what's funny?
anime?
If you watch that Netflix special where they all sitting down and talking about it, they really believe that there was a lot of gaping flaws in the story. Part of that humanizing people. They believe it.
It's bullshit because they're not specific on anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a bullshit lie. If you can't get specifics on what it fixed, then you just talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like they could have fleshed out, they could have made it more human. But Cowboy Bebop is a tragedy.
Yeah.
There are no happy endings.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. For none of them.
Right.
None of them.
Like it's a tragic story.
It's Cowboy Bebop is social commentary.
Yeah, it is.
And it was pulling what was happening at the time into a futuristic era. It's the thing I love about dystopic novels, right?
Yeah.
Whenever
yes.
you read any dystopic novel, you can tell what the author thinks is the thing that ails the world by the way they flesh out what the future will look like, right? You can tell that one of Watanabe's big things when he's dealing with, especially when you think about what Japan looks like at this time, it had a lot of like police corruption with like dealing with the Yakuza and the government and all the kind of stuff. Everybody had somebody in their pocket, right? You had a lot of issues with them coming into kind of full-bred capitalism and what that meant for debt for people. You had a lot of that kind of stuff going on in society at the time. So Watanabe's thing wasn't necessarily about respecting any individual person. It was about saying, this is what's wrong with the world. And if we continue going this way, this is what the future could look like.
Right. And I think when you
and it's
miss...
no beauty. That beauty's not there
Yeah,
anymore.
and because when you miss that, you can't tell a compelling story. You know, because I think
like
about...
they didn't understand what they were watching.
Yeah, I think what happened is they overvalued the characters over the story. I think they thought if we can give every character a fresh look, a polished look, and we can sacrifice the entire story for the sake of making it or trying to make this again. That's the only reason why Grin is the whole story has changed. Just try to make them relatable. Even though I would argue that the older Grin probably has more relatability.
There was nothing wrong with the characters in the anime.
Yeah.
You could have fleshed them. I forgot who it said. I forgot what I was watching a review, and he basically said these are 40-minute episodes. You told half the story in twice the time.
Exactly.
Microwave.
I can't remember who said it the other day. I'm kind of salty about that. But it's like because I was talking to Chris before, the anime is like Pulp Fiction. It's just a bunch of random shit with this red thread going through the whole
definitely
story.
like Pulp Fiction. Because,
so it's just like because watching the anime, you like, how does any of this go together? But every once in a while, you'll get that connecting piece. This they tried to just make one linear story.
Yeah, and I'll be to be fair, I'm not sure. Again, this is part of the directing. That's why I think I want to. That's why I can't just blame the acting.
Too,
the acting wasn't great.
The writing was not good at all.
They tried to repackage this story. And that's what I'm saying. My thing would have been just tell a different story. Yeah. Tell a different story from a different vantage point. The same way
like
Star Wars does. The same way. Exactly.
Like Carol and Tuesday.
See, but
you already were on that trajectory. Even if they had been like, we want to tell Julia's story. Why did she never show up when they were supposed to run away? Mm-hmm. Why did she show up at the end when Vicious was trying to finesse? You know what I mean? Like, even if they had decided to do like that, I would have been like, okay,
like I'm cool with it.
I could get into this.
But my thing is, for me,
I was so optimistic about them. I'm so disappointed.
The choices that they made, the changes that they made, could have worked.
I agree.
But
I do not disagree.
They were
with that.
just bad at their job.
Yeah.
Like whoever wrote this story was bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I feel like
I probably can't write a movie script. But I
feel like
but
it's
I can tell
because
it's something bad
they
or
did not understand the essence of the characters. Like even though like I said it's a social commentary or whatever, I still feel like they didn't understand the essence of the characters that they were supposed to be bringing to life.
Yeah.
If you part of Spike's characterization is that he's a man with nothing now.
Yeah.
He thinks everything he loves is gone and cannot be gotten back at all. In the live adaptation, Julia's right fucking there. She has a point at the end where she says, why did you fucking leave me here? You've been alive this whole time. You could have got me at any time. Now Spike's an asshole.
You know what?
Instead of being a guy that's
you know what
sad
I think?
because his girl
I think the
left
person
him.
that wrote this movie doesn't like women. Because
I can
none
see
of
that.
these women are empowered.
Yeah.
In the anime, the women are empowered.
Very much empowered. Very much so. But like
they all can handle their own.
Yeah. But
there's more. I would argue that the women
and then he stabbed the black woman in the thigh.
For no reason.
Stabbed my medical examiner in the thigh.
And if you was real vicious, you would have. If you was real vicious, you would have finished the job. Like this.
Right.
That was my thing. Like,
Listen,
what are you doing, naming people? Like
initially, I was like, huh. Like I like this kind of. I like Mother's Basement compared this to Gotham, which is hilarious.
Wow.
But I was like, I didn't initially mind the idea of like the syndicate having like a bar and it having this kind of very that Gotham-esque thing where this is where the mob comes kind of thing.
Yeah,
sure.
I didn't initially like mind that too much. I didn't love the idea of Spike's mom character being the person that runs that bar. Because again, part of Spike's story after the syndicate is all about poverty. And that's super not impoverished anyway.
Right.
So I didn't initially mind that. But I think that I don't know. I maybe it's that same thing where it just didn't feel like it was done super well. If that makes sense. Like it just wasn't executed well. That was the one part where I was like, oh, this could have really, 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 really worked, but it did not work.
And this is probably the writing, but I'll speak to Spike's character too. Is Spike was not a funny guy in anime.
Oh,
he was not a
right. He wasn't.
He didn't have comedic timing. He didn't have. He was just a smooth, depressed guy.
Well, he was a smart ass though.
He was a smart ass
sure.
sometimes. Yeah, for sure.
But I think the live action interpreted that as
they tried to
this
make him funny, right?
Yeah, this guy is like
funny
a little.
guy.
He's a little bit funny. We're gonna have John Cho tell some offhand jokes.
I felt like the humor in the show wasn't good. Like there wasn't any really
Was
good
there any humor? Well, they tried.
They tried with John Cho.
They were trying to make him like quippy and like,
but
they had good banter. They were trying to pull off a James Gunn is what they were trying to do, and it didn't work.
None of the stuff worked. They tried to do.
Everything just felt so. It was one of those things where it's like you don't want to tell the story of Cowboy Bebop, then don't.
That's what I'm saying. Don't tell some other story. Tell Greg's story.
You got the rights to it and stuff like that. Like you could, if you want to be creative, be creative.
Why
but don't.
You know what's prime for a live action?
Duck like a cow.
A prequel.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
and I'm okay.
When they were all in the syndicate, that would have been.
That would have been.
On that note,
that in this
setting would have been absolutely perfect.
Great.
And then the best scene in the entire anime or the entire live action is when Spike goes John Wick.
Yes,
on that other game,
Daredevil
on that,
exactly.
Like
Except
that,
for when he shot the kid
like
at the
that.
end,
that was messed up. But like,
but the thing is,
if they did
that should have had weight. That moment should have had weight.
Yeah, and all it was him covering for Vicious his little hoe ass because he was having a little tantrum. And he was drunk.
But the problem is it didn't even do anything because everybody knew it was him anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is that if he was solely on the run because he did that, because he, in some essence, chose Vicious over Julia at that time, that would have worked. That moment would have had weight. You know what I mean? And he would have just been a man on the run from what he could have had. You know what I mean? But
and they could have kept the whole motivation behind like Vicious, like why did you leave me type deal.
Because that's both of them would have been like him and Julia be like, what the fuck?
Because that's at least the anime. That's sort of what it's. Yeah, that's Vicious motivation. Like, yo, bro, like we was bros. I mean, I hate your guts, but it comes from love. But in the show,
I only hate you because I loved you so much.
Exactly. But in the live action,
that's a real life story for me and some of my friends.
This guy. So wait, are you Spike or you Vicious?
No, not me. It's two other people.
Oh yeah.
Chris knows the story.
Yeah.
So
I'll bring up two things before we get to our ratings and stuff. And one of them is the one thing I did appreciate was the music. So like
when there wasn't anyone singing. Got it.
Oh no, none of that stuff. I'm talking about like the fact that they used the intro. I don't know if you watched every single episode, but they used it like.
But why did they double back every time? They could have just like.
Yeah, I would have liked them to maybe just. I did appreciate them giving different variations for a certain depending. Like they'll have a scene, and then they'll work the scene into the intro and be like the music part. And so I was like, oh, look at them trying to do something.
They
different.
let her play a little bit with the. I
was
like, I don't mind.
And it wasn't all the way off either, which was fine.
They fucked up my favorite episode too.
Which
Peter
one?
the Fool.
Yeah.
Who? Which one?
Peter the Fool.
Oh.
It's another thing I'll bring up, and this is I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
And why the switch from cats to dogs?
Because of Ein.
Yep.
But he ended up using the dog. Yeah. Why would you use something that you despise as a?
Malcolm.
Yeah.
And again, the dog is the computer eye. Like,
I didn't even talk about the dog.
The dog became R2D2.
They got the dog wrong. They got the dog wrong. The dog is supposed to be. It's supposed to serve a way greater purpose in the anime.
What's interesting too,
and he's just for that moment to be
I even
robot.
liked some of the monsters of the week situations that they chose. I didn't super mind some of the bounties that they slipped in there that were different. I didn't mind. Even that first bounty, I didn't love that was the beginning action or whatever. Yeah. But I was like, that as a bounty thing, that doesn't like that's not too bad. Or even the dog guy and his motivations for stealing the dogs and stuff or whatever. It was kind of weak sauce that he couldn't kill the dogs. Like at first I was like, I know they ain't gonna let this man kill no dog. Not in this version of a television show. Right.
Like you can't have black folks killing dogs.
Right. Better be
and the fucking environmentalists in this.
Oh yeah.
I was like, you gotta be shitting me.
It was
how did you fuck up their story? How do you fuck up their story?
This was easy.
They mess up the motivation so it makes them look aloof. It makes them look like they're just completely dumb.
But it was like, no, everybody had such like important reasons for doing all of the fucked up shit that they did. And they stole because they needed a bad guy.
Yeah, they made them look like the minions.
They made it look like they were being bad just because. You couldn't be like, I get it.
The major problem, I think we talked about this before everybody came to, is that the main crew of the Bebop, all of them are fucked up. And they don't have any real redeeming qualities. They're the island of misfit toys.
Yes.
And that's why they stick together. That's why they can go do their own shit and be like, you know what? I'm going to go back to the Bebop. Because I don't have anybody, but I got at least these niggas over here.
Right.
So I might as well have that. I don't like them, but...
Like, I'm there if you about to die, baby. Like...
Right?
Golly.
And
fucking Ed.
And they tried to make them like real friends, like almost right away.
Yeah,
everybody became trusting and stuff immediately.
I think because the problem with that is, I mean, obviously the anime is longer, but maybe the live action should have been longer.
It's really not though when you think about 40-minute episodes.
No, it's not. But I guess what I'm saying is they decided to truncate the story.
It felt like that because they spent a lot of fucking time on Vicious and Julia.
That's what I'm saying.
That's way too much time.
I'm like, why Julia is most of the show? This is the Julia show.
The anime,
and I'm not a fan.
The anime, right? It has all these different stories, Grin's story, the little weird story with the virus in the fridge, all these little moments is what build the rapport amongst the crew. It's not just, oh, we all understand each other. And
yeah, like they don't bond over war stories.
no,
you know what?
Because she's not bonding.
You know what?
Like
also, though,
yes.
I just
he
thought
was
about,
right about that about Faye, that she wasn't down like that.
Nobody's really a main character in the anime.
Exactly. We just end up with Spike because the
Everybody
Spike and
has
Vicious dynamic.
Their
but
little
everybody
side
has
stories, but like no, it's not Spike's story.
No,
it's not Jet's story. It's not Faye's story. It's just a story that involves these people, and you also get the side characters.
Yeah.
And Vicious and Julia are not in the front like that.
Yeah.
And they not fucking married. They fucked that so bad.
And like I said, they butcher. I'm not gonna repeat myself, but they butcher Vicious character, man.
So
they
bad.
One of the things,
Vicious was a badass in the anime. Like,
I told you,
hashtag bitches.
Bitches. I'm not saying that. I've already given my criticism on the women in the show. That is professional criticism. That was not a knock on their rights and their respectability as women.
Awful. He was.
First of all, that scream in the end when he got was it stabbed or shot? And they had him out here like,
everything. Did you the smile that he did, because he was trying purposely to do like a creepy smile, and it was like, dude, what? Sir, take several seats.
And them taking out the entire
There was
Titan War.
nothing good about Vicious.
How you make the coldest character in the anime?
He was cold.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
that guy that they put on.
Yeah,
well, and his motivations for taking over the syndicate. Cause you have daddy problems. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me?
And
that's not good enough.
You know what? I also don't like.
What did he do? He said he lost his fangs. He had to go.
You know what else though?
I'm the only
he also left. The sword just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like he didn't have it with him at all times and stuff.
Yeah,
and he sucked that.
Right, he wasn't right. I'm like, you didn't slice.
Not a single person.
Well, I mean, they were supposed to that whole scene where he kills everybody is supposed to be the look, he's skilled moment.
He looked terrible,
and it was such a short scene too. Like,
So
like if I wanted to see
Spike's original fighting style though.
I missed okay, so here's the thing, and I promise I'm gonna transition to this larger point.
This episode gonna be 5 hours.
No, so I want to bring up the fact that there was a misdirect. So they had Spike, John Cho in the beginning, training on the Wing
Chun thing.
Yes, Bruce Lee's favorite toy.
Yeah,
and when he goes to fight
and didn't do nothing with
he
that,
fought like Jackie Chan. The same shit they did with Shang-Chi.
I'm like,
I love Jackie Chan. I fucking do. That's not how them niggas supposed to fight.
But you
get me.
But also in the anime, he enjoyed, because he's kind of a nihilist. He enjoys fighting.
Yes.
He's incredibly good, and he enjoys.
And that's
it.
why that's why
the bouncy and the playfulness
lends itself to
and that's the whole reason. That's part of the biggest reason behind his name is Fearless. It's like the fact that this man is just always ready to scrap.
Yes.
Like always, 100% of the time, he's always ready to scrap.
No family?
And that's when he's complaining about, for example, when Jet got to see his
the performance. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of funny.
And that was funny, but he's complaining about the. Oh, really? I'm like, in the anime,
they'd all been dead. First of all, they'd all been dead, and Jet would have came outside. He said something slick, or he'd have already been gone. Like,
right, that's what I'm saying.
He wouldn't have waited for him.
So the major point I kind of want to address is the fact. So we agree that this isn't great.
Oh, would have been funnier if he had to fight while he was at the recital, but that
like
they didn't know they could see who he was fighting.
That's what I thought they were gonna do, but they didn't. I'm like, that would have been funny. Like you see a chair go through the
because
the hologram.
Even though,
that would have been funny.
The wife's like, what the?
Spike was always badass.
Call us
but
to
he
write
wasn't
this shit,
invincible.
Netflix.
Right.
He was
crowdsource
getting
the
his ass
writing.
beat in his fights too. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't just like, oh, I can handle 6 niggas by myself, no problem. It's like, no, he would handle it if he had to. Right. But like he would struggle a little bit. The Daredevil thing, right?
Yeah.
He exhausted in the hallway, you know. It's like it would have made more sense if it was like he couldn't contain the fight,
Right.
and then Jet had to jump in and help. And then you get that comedy moment of him at the recital fighting niggas you can't see.
They don't like comedy in this show though.
No, they didn't.
No,
They just half-assed everything they tried to do.
So
one butt cheek.
I want to bring this up because we'll go to ratings after this.
Okay.
But I want to bring this up just because I think it's a really important point. When I was watching It's a Gundam, and he brought up the fact that the only reason that shows like this exist, and it made me think about like the motivation behind Netflix to do live action. Because I'm like, dang, if we're gonna do this bad, why do it? And they addressed how the fact that once Netflix lost all the Marvel shows and all the other superhero stuff, and they lost The Office and all the NBC content, they had to go to the next biggest thing. If they didn't have NBC content, because it's all on Peacock, if they couldn't have all of the Disney Plus Now content, then is it the money grab for anime?
I was thinking about the TikTok you sent us. I was being gross.
Is what we expect from Netflix going forward when it comes to these live actions like One Piece and all this other stuff?
Oh God!
Are we just? Oh
God!
Are we?
I don't think I'm even gonna watch that. I'm not gonna lie. I can't.
You have to.
I can't. That's my favorite.
I had to
anime.
watch this. Y'all got on me. I was 3 episodes in, and I said, y'all, I ain't gonna make it. And you said, you better figure it out. And you better figure it out, Jordan. You gotta figure it out.
Damn.
Well, I guess so. That's my question.
1,000 episodes of Netflix.
See, the thing
live
is, like,
adaptation.
what they did to Cowboy Bebop tells me they're not gonna get One Piece right.
Yeah.
They can't.
Well,
They
now,
won't.
here's the thing.
Because that was the easier assignment.
They did do better than Death Note. So
Okay, well,
Building
Death Note,
blocks.
they get better
Building
than
blocks.
Death
Building
Note was
blocks.
literally, they had everybody that was involved in that take a shit in a pile. They set it on fire. That was Death Note. That's what that was.
Except for William Dafoe.
William
Except for
Dafoe
William
was
Dafoe.
amazing.
His
I
shit was
loved
not
him.
on fire. His was like on a pedestal. Like, and there was
Shined up,
an apple on it.
sideways.
He was trying to stump out the bag on the porch.
Yeah, he was.
And because
Man.
he was there, he got shit on his shoe. I'm sorry, Mr. Dafoe.
Yeah.
You had to be a part of that.
Yeah. But yeah,
That's
they should be
gonna be
apologizing.
So
your
that's my
later.
question. Is the assumption that Netflix is just making money grabs towards anime?
They've been doing
that's been their thing.
so here's the thing about Netflix, right? They have like that. I think that TikTok said this too, where it was like they got a couple of bangers and they have a couple of stuff that just it fucking hits. Netflix does release a lot of original content that goes nowhere at all.
Some of it's really good.
Tons.
They'll have a Black
not
Mirror,
only
and
that,
then
but
they'll
they
have-
it. They got Netflix in every country making original shit.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
love watching like
Keyword original.
Indian,
Yeah.
This shit ain't
there we go.
You
Yeah,
got the
that's
blueprint out.
Yeah, that's true.
Just
Well, but here's the thing, though,
They like
right?
started tracing it and then they
Right.
can't
Here's
trace
the
it
thing.
correctly.
shot for shot.
Even most of the original stuff is based off of what books. Everybody's making shit based off of books
true.
now. The movies you think are original usually are based off of a book.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's really making original shit. Period. Go support original films and movies. Anyway, nobody's making original shit
That's
anymore.
very true.
Everybody's basing it off a book. Everybody wants to do
Remaking
their
stuff.
version of something else. We're in like the peak of postmodernism, right? Nothing's original anymore.
That's true.
TikTok is a thing.
It's
It's
literally
literally just recycled,
It's just-
endless recycled content.
It builds itself based off of virality,
Yeah,
which
it's true.
has to do mostly with hopping on trends.
Yeah,
You
it's true.
cannot be popular on TikTok without trend hopping. So you have to steal other people's content in order to get big on the platform or make stealable content.
Yeah. True.
Colonizers.
Wait. Well, what's fun? So, oh no, that's put a little commentary. I will keep that opinion to myself. Anyway.
But I agree.
Now I want to know.
But I think that's a solid point. It's like, I mean, Netflix is so weird, man. Because Netflix does have content that I like. They have things that I like.
Yeah, it's true.
The issue is I don't know, is one production house doing the anime stuff, or is it just whoever grabs it?
No, I think
because
I think
the
it's
thing with the
different
Marvel stuff is the people in charge of Marvel did not want to fuck up.
Yeah.
But they also had other stuff tied to it, even if it wasn't necessarily tied to the cinematic universe.
But that was the big thing, though. That was the big thing, right? The TV team for Marvel and the movie team for Marvel were not, friends. And so the TV team were trying they would try to do the little tie-ins and shit like that. But movie Marvel wasn't telling TV Marvel shit. So they were like, okay, well, we can't be privy to what's going to happen next. We kind of got to just like write our stories and do our shit. And then if something pop off, we'll got to figure out a way to finesse it into our shit so that it makes more sense. So these characters still feel like they're all existing at the same time. So that's why you end up getting like these beautiful pieces that you got, like the Netflix Marvel things or whatever.
Yeah, because they're essentially original.
It had to be standalone. It had to be. Now with Disney Plus,
but they're
doing a good job at it. But it's also like everything's connected to everything else. And you can't just enjoy something anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, I do like Hawkeye because it's connected and not connected at the same time so far. Like it's
got Easter eggs.
His current story is tied into the past situations, but I don't know if it's gonna project into anything.
You know that it's going
I guess.
to.
I know. I don't want it to.
Echo. It's gonna have Kate Bishop is obviously in it. She's gonna has to have a this is going somewhere type of story, and they're bringing Yelena into shit.
Yeah, but
so
I mean,
if you haven't watched Black Widow,
it's not gonna be like
if you haven't watched Endgame, if you haven't watched all this other shit, you won't know what's going on.
So I think the Disney Marvel shows are like good tie-ins in a comic book. You got the main story, but then every character in the main story, their individual issues also tie into that story. Mm-hmm. But a good tie-in, you can read it by itself and read the main story separately. Mm-hmm. I think, and so it'll tie in little things will connect, but
maybe that's the thing with the Marvel separately. Universe isn't big enough.
What? I feel like that's
is it big enough? You said
is it like
not.
One of the things with like Star Wars is that Star Wars has like all this world, and so you could literally talk about what happens on an outer planet and have nothing to do with anything that happens in like the middle, the trilogy.
I mean, they're getting there though.
Yeah,
well, but I mean, maybe they're going to build to that point.
The cosmic
but right
stuff.
now, even the stuff that feels like it could have just been loosely connected or even standalone, they're connecting intimately with the core story.
But
because Guardians of the Galaxy could have been its own thing, but now Thor is a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think that's like in bringing it back to Netflix, I think the problem is I don't know if they know what to do anymore. Like I don't know if they know how to do those kinds of things, the things that telling these standalone stories really
anime,
well.
But maybe it's because they're using anime studios to make their anime.
Yeah.
Right.
But
it's I was trying to look up the studio.
The biggest thing is, what did we think was going to happen? It's a live adaptation of an anime.
Right.
We knew it wasn't going to be good.
Yeah.
Why would we hope? What's wrong with us?
We wanted to hope it didn't suck. We didn't think it was going to be amazing.
Right.
But all right, let's speaking
One
of that.
Piece though, amazing. Jordan, write it down. Amazing.
That's crazy because I don't want them to touch anything else.
No, I don't either.
Like, I don't want you to touch. Nothing. Which is crazy, but I mean, like
don't
I said,
even think about
they've also soiled your favorite now.
How can you do The Witcher and not do Cowboy Bebop?
You're not lying.
You're
not lying.
What?
Ooh, I still gotta watch Arcane.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's supposed to be amazing.
I've heard it's really good.
What's the new one? It's like Super Thieves or something like that.
Oh yes.
yeah,
That's supposed to be good too. Yeah,
Super
yeah.
Crooks. Yeah, apparently that's good too. Yeah.
That's been on my suggested.
How?
Netflix
How?
knows me
Because
too
they
well.
don't care about you in your anime.
Yeah.
They know you're gonna.
I feel like
they know you're gonna at least dip your toe in the water.
it's like comic books are getting their moment in the sun at the moment, and manga's like, I mean, I'm a Japanese comic. Can I get in here too? And then the world is like, no.
quite.
But like, I mean, sure, but like, we're gonna spend $5 on you, so like, make do.
Yeah, and I think we'll see how this goes. We'll see. Obviously, we reported on this weeks ago with Crunchyroll being acquired.
Aren't they finna close it?
Yeah, they about to close.
They've
that
been
deal.
talking
And
about.
Well, like,
Bullshit. That beta was looking good. I was excited.
we're gonna see how it's, and all of that. Obviously, all that has a ripple effect in how Hollywood has to treat these different live actions and stuff. And hopefully, that's a good thing. But anyways,
I don't know. They're creating an anime monopoly. I don't know.
And it's
not good.
It's
at least on the American side.
I just need Disney to buy it.
What would be cool
yeah.
though? I guess. Well, no, that wouldn't be cool.
What?
I lied. I reverse. I was gonna say, what would be cool then? It's like you have your American company that has it, but then you have the Japanese companies. But then I was like, no, could that? Cultures are different.
Like building a Toyota in America.
No.
Let's get to
because they do that.
And this could be really quick, but let's get to our rep report card, our representation report card, letter grade A through F. What do we think? So, and I'll go first while y'all think.
Okay, go ahead.
So I think the thing with this, so if I had to rate it on like the first 2 episodes, I would give it like a C. But because most of the show focused on these 2 emotional white people, Vicious and Julia.
Facts.
I'm gonna give it a D.
Did he lie? Did he lie though? Well, we're gonna right the wrongs of Cowboy Bebop by telling the story of 2 white people.
Yeah, I'm like this
because that's what the world should be about. It's 2 emotional white people that are super privileged.
Yeah, like
and
this
like they want what they want. You know what I mean? They want power.
And so I think
they have problems with their dads that like take care of them.
But like, so that's my problem is if you gonna tell a story, that's fine. Like I watched Game of Thrones. It's like 3 total black people in Game of Thrones. But if you gonna tell a story, tell a story.
Star Wars.
Right. But if you gonna tell a story, I think the way they told the story
Billy D.
did not shine a light on diversity. I think Jet is. You said that Jet wasn't
positive black father role model. Jet is,
but like I feel like he's the
for the whole getting his daughter
Piccolo.
No. Not only that, they had to put him in jail. The nigga had to do that done a bit,
right.
whether he was framed or not.
That's
Look at this black dad trying. He went to
breaking
jail
up the black families.
They put him in jail because the system.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they said no black love here. Interracial marriage.
My thing is
and now she married a white man, and they got the girl from the Cheerios commercial.
She had her jungle fever, and then she moved.
There's definitely some red pill energy going on with that storyline. So like Jet was my favorite guy on the whole thing.
Yeah.
But because of how they told his story, it falls flat in the diversity department. It doesn't like if you're gonna be like a we talk about this kind of word I'm looking for, this self-destructive cop or whatever.
Wait,
is that the word?
When she was like,
the old lady.
Yes.
Wait, what?
She's the best character in the show.
Because you are black.
You are
Oh
black.
yeah, she was hilarious, bro.
Dude, you are Belle.
She had jungle fever to the max. I'm telling
You know
you.
what that
bro.
remind me of?
That
You know that meme that's going around?
Which
That
one?
whole, what do you want to say to Joe Biden? What's up, baby? You take me out to the That's what that remind me of. I saw that, I was like, this is...
That's funny.
Oh man.
Yeah, people took issue with that. I didn't really
She's
care
my favorite
about that.
character. Fuck y'all.
That was
Yeah,
funny.
she is.
It was funny. Like
Because I know
She was like,
I've ran into old women like
true.
that.
Wow.
like,
Old people like that,
make
for
sure
real.
you keep that ass
Dog,
alive.
dog,
I'm gonna
this-
want my payment.
When I worked at Pado,
She was thirsty as hell.
when I worked at Pado, which is a casino in Milwaukee, this 90-year-old lady with her caregiver said, if I was 30 years younger, I'm like, nigga, you'd have been 60. That's not a thing.
Yeah. Respect to the old girl, the character. But
Yeah, she was funny.
I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a D.
She was
That's my
thirsty-
letter
she was thirsty
grade
as
for the rep report card.
See, now
I think because of that moment though, where it was like, nigga, it's they're in space. He wasn't even born on Earth. We're so far removed from that realm of things where his blackness would be like a thing like
a
that.
sexualized thing. Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm like, that's an odd thing to throw in a space future show.
Yeah.
In any case, giving it because I didn't like it. I didn't think its LGBTQ plus representation was good.
I don't think it did him
either,
any favors. Yeah.
at all.
nope.
I think,
Even
like I said, I think they were just
facing,
meeting the status quo, but they didn't actually do it to move the story forward.
Here's what I think. I think they just were like diversity. Yeet.
They made,
They just like tossed it in
Turtles did it.
with
and it was
no
like the Turtles
direction.
did it
well,
good though.
with no direction.
They made the lesbian a mechanic. Like,
That's right.
like,
No,
bro.
it's a gun that pointed this out. Had that been a guy, that'd have been very creepy. It'd been very creepy for a mechanic
But, like,
on a
there's nothing
ship
here to
hitting
steal.
on a
I
mean,
random
but that's-
woman. It'd have been creepy.
Yeah, right.
They'd have been like, he's a predator, right?
But-
I'm like,
I mean,
But
how is that
that's
different?
with all things male, female.
yeah, right. It is.
All
We
things.
can't do the same things.
That's a-
Men and
anyways,
women
sorry.
can't do
That's
the
true.
same things and get rid.
That's like
You're
women.
get away
you're
with
right.
the same things.
Women can show up to school and be like, "Oh, that baby's cute. I'm gonna take him when he's 18." You
Ew,
try. You
no, we can't.
Yeah,
They
you
do it
can.
all the time.
No, that's
can't?
some shit y'all let bitches get away with.
No.
Absolutely
Society
not.
does.
Society
Society
does.
Society
Whose
does.
society are y'all
Everyone.
living in?
We living in
Because
this world.
I know moms that
Chris,
will throw
you don't
hands
even
at
leave your
bitches and
house.
say
Be quiet.
shit like that.
Your letter grade.
society do you know?
Chris, your letter grade.
work
You don't
with-
have time for a new
Okay,
debate.
fine. Fuck.
That's an F.
Maybe F for fuck. Probably like a. I'm somewhere at a C or D. Maybe a D. Yeah. I'm like C minus. C
Yeah.
minus.
Yeah.
Good
How about y'all?
answer,
How
good
about y'all?
answer.
Yeah. What's y'all letter grades?
Yeah, like I said, I felt like they just kind of threw in a bunch of diverse characters without a lot of direction. Like,
About making them multifaceted.
yeah,
man.
so I mean, for the sake of them having people of color in the show, I would say probably like a C or a B even. Their stories, F, because there was like Jets being black, other than him being hit on for being black, wasn't a thing. They never touched on it,
And that's a
which they don't really do a whole lot of touching on it in the anime either.
Well, that's my thing
but-
is that they shouldn't like it. There,
Right.
that
Yeah.
context doesn't exist
Right.
in
Yeah.
the world that they live in.
Well, not that they got into, like, because
Yeah.
you know, in the Carolyn
Yeah.
Tuesday one, they get into that more. Like,
Yeah.
Well, but it's
with the
got
racial
more to
struggles.
do with Earth and
Yeah.
not Earth than it has to do
Yeah.
with blackness and not
True.
blackness.
Yeah, true.
that's true.
Yeah, because it should be more of a class thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Than anything.
At
Once
that
you
point.
once
Yeah,
you
that's
throw
true.
all that shit up in the air,
yeah.
you got to make different ways to classify people.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay,
we
for
do
sure, I
that
got
shit.
you. So yeah, so Space
What,
Negroes.
what did Lupe say?
Space Negroes.
Space Negroes.
Space.
Space
Does
Brothers. Sorry.
Does anybody remember Homeboys from Outer Space?
Get out of my
What?
house.
Who?
Get out.
Nobody remembers Homeboys from Outer Space.
Get out.
What is that? A show or a movie?
Yes, that was a legit show
I watched
with the
it.
Wayne
No,
brothers.
I seen
no, I
I
never
seen
Nope,
Ghost
nope.
of Mars with
I
Ice Cube.
remember. And
Homeboys
was
from
all-
That
Outer
just sounds like a
Space.
D-rated movie, bro. Like,
It's the most randomest movie in the entire world.
What?
Ghost of Mars with Ice Cube.
Oh, that
And I forget who the main
I forgot,
chick
but I
is.
know what you're talking about.
It's oh my gosh. Anyways,
Yeah.
so you
So-
give it.
so yeah, so probably like overall, just for the presence of people of color and LGBTQ characters, probably like a C. Like the fact that they didn't, the fact that they didn't do their stories any justice,
They
I'd
made
probably
Spike
settle on like a
Asian at
D.
least.
Yeah. Yeah.
They made Spike Asian, but then also made him only crave Asian foods.
And then they made Vicious British.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, you were saying Malcolm.
He was vicious.
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 Want some tea and crumpets. Looking ass.
Yo, shout out to our people in the UK and in Germany.
If we have any of those.
Yeah.
We will eventually.
We got a Germany list, like a couple Germany lists.
That's what's up.
Apparently.
Don't we have
Well, they don't like the
Lithuanian
British
list
either, so
then?
we're good on that.
What?
Do we still have that Lithuanian?
We might.
That's
That pops up as our
Shout out to you.
Shout out to the
Right. Shout out to you. Love
Malcolm,
your
what
NBA
you got?
players.
Rep report card.
Love your NBA
Stop.
players. Ain't that what they say to ethnic people? I love your rice. I love your
food.
whatever.
I love your women. Your women are just
I love right.
Bro, what?
Pause.
I love your movies. Like Kung Fu, that's cool. Like ain't that what we say to ethnic people? Stuff dumb shit like that.
Anime's dope, man. What y'all do over there with that anime? What?
Right.
I don't even.
It's like, I want to go
what?
to Japan because it's got anime and like Japanese food.
No, see, but that's Japan. Their cartoons are anime, so it's like
Yeah, it's different.
it's heaven. You don't turn on the
Report
TV
card.
and see
Report-
cartoons. It's
report
just
card.
I'm sorry. I'm right.
You're gonna give us the Japan history lesson.
Representation. I mean, I guess because everybody is represented pretty much in some way.
They
It's,
got everybody in there.
Yeah, but they're like
I
all,
said they just yeeted them in
but
there.
they're all like shoehorned in there.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
So
Make it
I
make
don't
sense.
know. It's like, well, I'll say I was about to go sports again. Like the Rooney Rule, where you got to interview a black person. Like you making me interview a black person. Like
Even if they don't get a
lowers
job, yeah.
lowers the thing.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna just grab. My first instinct is just to grab one to fulfill the role of interviewing them
Yep.
Right.
instead of really looking.
To see if they
But
qualify.
anyways, that's a whole nother thing. I had to go see middle of the road.
Yeah, because they're there, but are they
Although
represented well?
Although they
Yeah,
did
but-
sexualize the black man and put him in jail. So
Oh, and they
Maybe a
sexualize.
Stereotypes.
And they
Maybe a D.
sexualize, and not that I didn't, but they say like them sexualizing Faye to no end, like for no character development at all. And in every single body in the show is like, just, anyways, we'll get to it. We're gonna get to a rating. My bad, I almost blew a head gasket just now. But let's get to it. Rating. Y'all know what this is. 1 to 10. No 7s. Only adjustable 6s.
I don't think anybody's gonna rate it past the high, anyways.
But like you didn't even have to say
I
the
don't
second
even
thing.
think
It
that-
ain't up
Yeah,
there.
I'm
It
a-
ain't up there.
Yeah, and I'll go last because I don't.
Yeah, because this is your favorite anime. I feel like you
I'm a little
deserve that
emotional about
moment.
it. So,
He's like,
You
you know.
deserve that moment.
Yeah.
They stabbed me in the back, man, and then they turned it. They twisted it,
Vicious was the one that
yeah.
stabbed him.
but he missed the
Oh,
first time
did
because
he?
this nigga can't use his sword.
All right, what are y'all rating
can't-
this? 1 to 10. 1 to 10. What do y'all rate this?
I am giving it initially. I'm somewhere between a 1 and a -2.
Take it all back. Take it back. It never happened. Wipe it from your memory.
Somewhere between a 1 and a -2. I would not. I disagree about even the. If you see it as like not Cowboy Bebop, or if you haven't watched Cowboy Bebop, that it's a good show. No, I think the way that they characterize Julia is ass, and her motivations don't make any sense.
That's because she wasn't even in the show.
No,
For like
no.
2
We're not
seconds.
talking about Ed. We're not doing that. No, we're not talking about Ed. We're not doing that. Anyway, the way they do Vicious doesn't make any fucking sense, and it's typical as fuck.
Yeah.
As a regular ass show, it's bad. In my opinion, it's bad, and I think it's because they half-assed everything. If they had committed to not telling the story, like, and being like, "Fuck you, anime fans, we gonna tell the story we want to tell because we thought your story sucked ass,"
Right.
they would have probably told a better story. Period. Because that's what they wanted to do. That's what they
Yeah.
wanted to do. And Netflix was like, nah, we got to at least get the initial views, those first subscriptions. You know what I'm saying?
And they going for a second season.
fucking hell.
And they're gonna get the second season.
They gonna get the second season.
I mean, they left it at a point where
we're not watching that. I'm not watching that.
You
Y'all can
have
say,
to for the
"Well,
review.
we're gonna review it," and
For the
I'll be
review.
like,
She's gonna be like, I feel a sickness coming on.
How everybody throwing around them religious exemptions and stuff. I have a religious exemption.
I'm gonna strap you in the chair like
Cowboy Bebop, okay?
I'm gonna strap you in the chair like Spike in the little hypnosis machine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was weird. That was real weird.
Yeah, so somewhere between a 1 and a -2.
What y'all got?
Because I'm
What y'all
like, I'm
got?
trying to decide if I just didn't like it or if I hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you hate it.
I might
What
hate
y'all
it.
got?
Oh, I'm going
Since we
next.
using negative integers, but
3 or 4
ooh, that's high.
because because I am of the ilk that if it wasn't Cowboy Bebop, it would at least been
Entertaining.
charming.
Yeah.
Who
Who was charming?
I mean the attempt. Have you ever seen like
Now, if it wasn't Cowboy Bebop,
Have you ever seen like Borderlands?
No.
I played the.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I have
video
actually.
game?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
like
show.
terrible writing, story is trash shit, but the fighting's good.
Yeah, the fighting is
Like
good.
so, like
It's true.
I have seen Borderlands.
Yeah.
so.
Oh,
What
fighting
in
in that
this
show's
was
real good.
that?
What in this was that?
Hmm.
They tried.
Get out.
They tried.
No,
See,
I'm
that's not
putting,
gonna be an
I'm
excuse
putting
for
that
One
on the
Piece.
film,
It's not
but
gonna
get
be
So
an
out.
excuse.
3.
Nope.
So it's
Can't even
a
do it.
3 because it could have been charming if it wasn't Cowboy Bebop. It could have been charming. Like, oh, yeah. No, never mind. It's a 1. Because in my mind, it was just, there were 40-minute episodes.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
They had the time to tell the story.
that's so,
Right, yeah.
so
They had the
no,
time.
I just changed. I'm like,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking, in my head, I'm like,
You done
20.
messed up, Netflix.
I'm like 20, because I'm thinking 20-minute episodes.
Yeah,
Like, they
hey,
tried.
Ron, you messed up.
Like, they tried to get what they could in 20-minute episodes. Like, no, there were
Yeah.
40-minute episodes.
Yeah.
It's a 1.
40-minute
Yeah.
episodes
It's
of
a 1.
Julian
It's a 1.
Vicious.
It's a 1.
The
God.
worst characters and actors in the show. Which I think the guy that plays Vicious is probably a decent actor, but in
Yeah.
this,
That was bad.
listen,
I didn't know who he was, and I really don't care who he is anymore.
Is he? Are you on you? Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
on
What do you
Twitter.
got?
I mean, I'd it's tough because I don't have a lot of good things. I'd probably give it like a 3, and I'm gonna give.
But you're not giving him shit. Fuck you.
I'm gonna give.
I'm looking at him the same way.
I'm
I was
gonna
looking
give.
at you.
I'm gonna
You're not as
give.
vocal.
I'm gonna give an entire point to that one scene where Spike just murks
Yeah.
everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
okay.
Because that was
that
the
gave me
closest-
that gave me Daredevil vibes.
And that was the
which-
closest to actual
to
Spike that we
actual
get.
Spike.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Although
damn,
it
this
was
nigga
as
ruthless.
clunky as it's that one John Wick scene where he's got the gun and he's like,
Run that back again?
Yeah, but that's because a gun isn't that smooth
Yeah,
in
right.
like
Right.
real life. Like
Right.
Yeah.
there was
but
like
yeah.
you're not throwing
fight
a
scenes were, like,
magazine up and catching it like,
punctuated, they didn't
backwards.
flow,
And
Yeah.
which is why I was sad.
Yeah.
But they were just
That
like,
was the only-
and pose
like that-
and then pose like that.
That
and
was
then
like the
pose like
only
this.
fight sequence in the entire show that I really enjoyed watching.
I like the one where he was in his daughter's side. Like the stuff in the background, it was intriguing during
Yeah,
the
but that's
recital.
the thing though.
Just
Was
'cause
like
it was far
you
enough away
caught
to
like
only
little
have a
like
stunt actor.
2-second like him kicking the shit out of somebody in the background, like, but that was it. And then you come outside and you're all his bodies, and I'm like, well, that could have been cool. Like, could have been like what you were saying with like if there's chairs flying across the
That would've been
holograms and
funny.
like
It would've
if
been
it would have
cool.
bled into the building, like. I don't know, which inevitably, like street fights like that, usually like
Could
damage
have
property,
had that
but like
beautiful Pierre Lefaux.
It's
so
moment.
yeah. So anyway,
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yeah, we could talk about this for hours.
yeah. I'm gonna give it a quick one.
Right?
I'm not gonna
Like,
spend a whole lot of time with that.
Or a single tier.
And-
One for a single
One
tier.
single thug tier.
Yeah, man. Look. The reason that I personally like anime is to like as an adult is because animes tell complex stories and give complex concepts. Like we talked about pain, grief, depression, and every aspect of the anime. And I think when you try to short sight that just for the sake of trying to be creative, giving a new take or trying to fix things that weren't broken, I think it's artistically
or fixing
dishonest.
things by breaking other things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's dishonest because you're looking at this and you're saying, nah, this wasn't good. When objectively, this is probably the best, not the best anime, but it's top 10
It's
of anybody's
good piece
list.
of media in general.
Yeah,
Recognized the
Exactly.
world over.
Exactly. It's a cultural kind of like staple, especially in regards to anime. So for you to look at it and say, this wasn't good enough, we need to give everything, we need to turn it over on its head to try to make it quote unquote better. I think that's dishonest. I can't rock with that.
Why would you want to make a live adaptation of something you didn't like?
Right. If it was that bad,
because you
something
thought
that
you
people
was-
loved.
That's what it looks like. It looks like you said this was so bad that we needed to change everything. It's like
Everything.
If that was the case, don't touch it.
Yeah,
Leave it
I'm
alone.
like, why would you choose that person to be the director of your piece?
Well, they had 2 directors.
Yeah.
Did one of them like it?
No.
Did one of them like Cowboy Bebop?
Obviously not.
Yeah, clearly not. Why would you sign up for this project if but to
Make money?
Yeah.
Like I said, we said
It's a
it. The
money grab.
Netflix
I
cash
guess.
grab.
It's a money grab.
It's what it is. So that's
insane.
it. That's for me. I could obviously I can write a blog on this. I can do a full 5 of the TikToks on this.
Yeah, part 2's coming next week.
No.
All that to say is,
I'm
man.
done. I'm finished.
So and again,
I mean, part
if
2
you-
of the hate.
If you wanna hear an entirely different tone on how we review something, go watch the Cowboy Bebop
Where we actually
retro
enjoy the anime,
where we-
right?
Where we actually give it a much higher rating and we give it much more props than we did on this live action. I promise we don't hate the actual anime, but go watch that.